You are going to write your board exams 2023 very soon. So it's time for some quick revision. In today's session, I'm going to discuss a few give reasons from the poem The Darkling Thrush written by Thomas Hardy. This is another video on request. Question 1. The poem The Darkling Thrush is an elegy because... Why is this poem an elegy? What is an elegy? A mournful poem. Because the poem symbolically mourns the passing of an era. The word mourns is of utmost importance, highlighting the themes of despair, desolation, and the decline of human civilization at the end of the 19th century. So it is the end of the 19th century and the speaker is in a gloomy state of mind and he is pondering, contemplating over the end of this era in this poem. Do mention the word mourns if such a question comes. Question number 2. The speaker in The Darkling Thrush is leaning upon a coppice gate because he is lonely, gloomy, and in a meditative or thoughtful state of mind, looking at the bleak winter landscape. This is how you must write a single reason in your own words. Include all the key elements in this brief reason of yours. Now, look at this reason. Loneliness, gloominess in a meditative or thoughtful state of mind. All these points or expressions must be there in your reason. And he is looking at the winter landscape. Not just any winter landscape, but you must also highlight the bleakness of the winter landscape. And therefore, he is all alone and leaning upon a coppice gate. Question number 3 now. In The Darkling Thrush, frost is as grey as ghost because... Now, you need to learn the symbolism of frost in the poem The Darkling Thrush. Let's read the reason first. Because the surroundings are gloomy and desolate, with the winter chill turning frosty and making the landscape look ghostly grey. So here we have the death motive, ghostly grey, related to death. The tone and imagery of death is highlighted here when the poet compares frost to be as grey as a ghost. Here frost is personified. So you may also include that this symbolizes or stands for death. The setting sun seems weak and dreary because the weakening eye of day, another important symbol. Weakening eye of day. Eye of day is the sun and it is the setting sun. Because the remnants, the leftover, that is what is left of winter, have made the fast fading twilight seem bleak. The setting of this poem is one of isolation, desolation and loneliness. Nothing is picturesque or beautiful in the setting of this poem, and the weakening eye of the day bears testimony to it. Setting sun, everything is bleak, desolate and lonely. Next, remember that this is a winter landscape and therefore there is dreariness all around. The surrounding, the setting again must be read properly. Next, question 5. The people roaming in the bleak surroundings have hurried back home because... This was there in your specimen question paper this year. The people roaming in the bleak surroundings have hurried back home because the increasing cold and darkness have made them listless, lacking the vibrancy of life, and they seek the warmth of their firesides. It is really cold outside. It is bleak and desolate outside. And the setting sun is also weak. Therefore, these people have become listless and they lack enthusiasm. They lack the vibrancy of life and they are hurrying back home to seek shelter there and to feel the warmth of their firesides. And again, warmth of their firesides also symbolize the monotonous lifestyle. They do not have much to do. Therefore, they are returning back, hurrying back to their homes. Next, the tangled stems of climbing plants cut across the sky like the strings of a broken musical instrument because, according to the speaker, the cultural accomplishment of Western civilization is in ruins, learn this, and has fallen into disrepair, creating an image of disharmony. What is the most significant expression here? Disharmony. Broken musical instrument is equal to disharmony, and you need to mention that in your reason. Everything, the setting is all about bleakness and disharmony. There is nothing beautiful here. The land's harsh hills and cliffs seemed like the corpse of the century because, corpse of the century, which century? It is the end of the 19th century, because this is a reference to the end of the 19th century, and that is exactly what I have mentioned right at the beginning of the reason. And now the symbolic significance of it, symbolizing the death of the century. Highlight the point death. Death of the century and its culture. And the barren landscape highlights this pessimism. So, end of the 19th century number 1, death of the century, death number 2, and then pessimism number 3. In one single line, the poet has incorporated so many symbolic, significant details. Now, 8. The wind seems to the speaker like a sorrowful song. Everything is so hopeless. There is hopelessness all around. Sorrowful song, weakening eye of day, frost as grey as ghost. And why is it so? Why is the wind a sorrowful song? Because it is grieving. It is sad. It is grieving over the death of the 19th century. The same thing again and again, but you need to get your concepts clear. Because it is grieving over the death of the 19th century in a mournful lament. It is lamenting over the death of the 19th century, and the speaker is also gloomy. So, nature is gloomy and the speaker is also gloomy. So, the gloominess of the speaker is manifested in the bleakness of the surrounding, in the sadness of nature. So, remember one thing, that the Darkling Thrush is a nature poem. The poet has very deftly used natural elements in order to highlight the point of the theme of despair and desolation in the poem. After this, question 9. The age-old urge to reproduce and grow has shriveled up because death seems so overwhelming that the hope of a new birth following death seems non-existent. Everyone, everything has lost the zest for life, symbolizing a pessimistic perception. So, there is pessimism all around. Pessimistic perception of the dismal view of the world at the end of the 19th century. The century is coming to an end and everyone is so frustrated that the age-old urge to reproduce and grow has shriveled up. 10. Every spirit upon earth seemed fervorless as the speaker because there is a common thread. And what is that? Everyone is frustrated, disappointed, sad, pessimistic, because at the end of the 19th century, there is no hope for revival, total hopelessness, and everyone and everything has come to a standstill. There is no urge to reproduce and grow. Everything has come to a standstill, lacking enthusiasm and zeal and depressed like the speaker. So this is the common thread. His gloominess is now manifested in the frustration of the civilization. After this 11, the speaker is surprised by the song of the bird. Suddenly the speaker hears a bird singing and he is surprised. Why? Because he wonders. The word wonders is significant here. Because he wonders what could have caused the bird to sing such a joyful song, especially when there seems to be little on earth or in earthly things to rejoice about, and he himself is also gloomy. There is no joy around him and he himself is also gloomy. So why is the bird singing such a beautiful song of unlimited joy? This is the specific reason of his surprise. The speaker thinks that the bird's happy song carried some secret and holy hope, because this is the source of the ecstatic song of the joy illimited, although he is unaware of this knowledge. He doesn't know if there is any such secret. He is not sure, but he feels that perhaps there must be something which is inspiring the bird to sing such a beautiful song in the midst of such disillusionment, darkness and despair. And here he is suggesting joy in the midst of despondency. What is the meaning of despondency? Sadness and a mingling of hope and despair. He is unsure, but there is hope at the end of the poem. This is a nature poem. This is an elegy, and there is also the theme of hope and renewal in this poem. And the song of the thrush represents the spirit of hope, optimism and renewal. 13. The speaker, as well as every spirit, is fervorless because, again the common thread, because the poem is placed at the end of the 19th century, also the end of the Victorian age, suggesting a time of uncertainty. Why is everyone so sad and disillusioned? Because this is a time of uncertainty due to the after effects of the Industrial Revolution, and there was nothing in the bleak winter surroundings to cheer the spirit and cause any joy. Everyone is sad. My dear students, this is the end of today's session.